Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to share with you guys 5 cool knives that you might not know about. Sometimes I like to do these uploads because it introduces people to 5 knives very quickly versus one of my more lengthy reviews or one of my unboxings where I just cover one or maybe a couple of knives. So this is fun. I haven't done this in a while, but it's nice to return to it. I will link everything down in the description so that you guys can check this stuff out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Let's go ahead and get started here with one you have seen. This is a knife that I really enjoy from Civivi, but because it's almost Halloween, I thought that I would bring this one up. This is the Halloween version of the Civivi Yonder. Here's what, this is something that I find, I have to be careful about this. Every time there's a holiday, some companies who maybe aren't as interwoven into these holidays have some pretty hilarious sort of general stuff the theme into a cannon and fire it at the knife and hope that people who celebrate this holiday enjoy it. And Halloween tends to be some of my favorite stuff, some of these companies, and these are all great companies. I think everybody understands exactly what I'm trying to say, but sometimes certain companies just don't really understand it. I'm happy that this is safe and straightforward and just simple Halloween. We have the little jack-o'-lantern face on there. I think that this is a website exclusive. The Yonder is obviously a really great knife, and it's also designed by Zach Whitmore. You guys probably are familiar with Zach. This is a great knife. I've reviewed it. I really enjoyed it. It has the face on both sides, right? And then we have the great EDC profile, sort of the heavy belly reverse tanto blade, reversible pocket clip. It's just a really good, straightforward EDC knife. If you're like me and you like to carry a themed knife for a holiday, this is a good one, and it doesn't quite have the whole sort of mishmashed, confused, boo, haunted house crap all over it. Some companies just kind of go a little bit overboard out of confusion. They didn't do that with this knife. I really, really enjoyed it, but I wanted to share this with you guys. This is going to be my Halloween carry this year for sure. Moving on here, one that is completely different. This pocket sword that actually might not fit on screen. It just barely does. This is the PMP Paragon. Now, this is the less expensive version of it in, I think they did this in D2. See the D, yeah, it says D2 right there. There is a more expensive version of it. Both versions are expensive, right? This is a huge knife. In this case, it's a nested, subframe lock, I guess is what we're going to call this, right? But there's 2 different variations of it. This one's going to be G10 that's got kind of the multiple layers there. Really cool. If you like almost cartoonishly huge knives, it's made well. This isn't a knife that's going to be practical for day-to-day carry. It is a knife that you will be able to fit in a standard pocket just barely. And if you enjoy being that knife guy, if you're the knife guy in your social circle, right? And your friends have all just accepted, right? They don't run and scream when you pull your knife out. They just accepted you're the knife guy, and you kind of enjoy carrying something different to show your friends. If this sounds like I deal with this, personally, or that I have personal experience in this picture I'm painting, it's because I do. I am definitely the knife guy in my own social circle, and I like waiting for somebody to ask, what are you carrying today? And it's funny sometimes to whip out stuff like this, as long as you're in the appropriate setting. I know that I'm not the only one who thinks that. This will cut. It will do what it is designed to do. But it's just cartoonishly gigantic, and it's pretty cool. Some people really, really enjoy carrying big, crazy pocket swords, and this is definitely what I would put in that category. The overall length of this knife, gosh darn it, I have to turn it diagonal because it won't fit on screen. That's what she said. That's what she said. 11 inches. 11 and a quarter. Jeez. The blade length is coming in at 4.5. And about 4.5 inches of cutting edge as well. This is a kind of a weird compound blade where we have an initial very thick flat grind, then a little tiny bit less thick flat grind, and then it goes back to a really thick flat grind out at the edge. Very interesting, very bizarre, huge, hilarious, and honestly a little bit overpriced. But you know what? the only criteria for this list is cool. And in my opinion, this is cool. Moving on here to kind of just a bizarre one. I think this is probably going to be one of the most expensive on the list, but it's just cool. This is the Ketwo Dirty Bird, and I think people will either be on the side of the fence of that's extremely ugly or I really like it. Either way, whether you like it or you think it's ugly, it is an incredibly slippery knife. It is a very, very polished surface, as you can see, and it's going to be a little bit slippery. If that matters to you, then this is probably going to be not on your list here. But if it doesn't matter to you and you just like to collect or you just enjoy knives, for the aesthetic, you might like this one. This has a bunch of cool features. Number one, it has a really crazy, almost like sort of rock-carved Wharncliffe blade. There's actually an insert in the opening hole, which we don't see very often outside of Jeff Blauvelt from Tough Knives. I think he does that. This is a button-operated liner lock, and there is also a safety on it. So once it has engaged, you can actually click this safety up and the knife cannot disengage. This is handy if you're kind of like gripping it really hard and using it, right? Which again, you may not find yourself in that scenario because it's kind of slippery. But you can push down on that button all you want, and as long as you don't disengage the safety, you are good to go. Very, very smooth, very satisfying. This does have a super premium feel to it. Not super easy to reverse flick. You can do it. I think that hole just needed to be bigger, giggity. But yeah, it's not super accessible, giggity. Sorry. There's no way. I don't know how to talk about this quickly without sort of creating, it paints a vivid picture no matter what I say, it seems like. But anyways, very cool. I wish that it didn't have the slot here for the pivot, but I believe on this knife the tool is actually built in to the backspacer. Yep, I found it. So it's right here. You can probably, I don't know, I don't think my fingernails are long enough, but you basically lift up on this area right here, and as you can see, this sort of pops off, and then this is the tool that is required to disassemble your knife. Now this is kind of neat in the sense that the tool required for disassembly is always there. And there's not really a lot to, adjust or take apart here. I think that's cool. And if you're wondering well, how likely is that thing to come off? Not very, because of the way that it engages. There's quite a bit of friction holding this down, and then it hooks in. So I think even let's say you're I feel like spiking my knife on the ground, on the concrete like a football today. I think even if you did that, it probably wouldn't come out. It takes quite a bit. I had to actually use something to get underneath there, right? But that's kind of neat. I also kind of am well, make it Torx and then make the backspacer not come out at all, right? So it's kind of cool on, on one hand, and on the other hand, it's kind of it's almost an inconvenience. But either way, right, it's there. These come in either polished gold titanium or polished blue titanium. And then you have Damascus, or there's another option for the inlay. Some people are going to look at this and think that's just really weird. And other people look at this and go, wow, that's really, really cool. It is definitely a premium knife. I believe this is utilizing or sporting M390. I think it's neat, and it certainly is off the beaten path, right? Everything looks like the bug out nowadays, so it's nice to see something different, even if it's kind of ugly. This is called the Dirty Bird, and I actually, it doesn't look dirty. It's a fun name. It looks very clean. They should have called it the Cleanly Bird, but no, that's stupid. Shut up, Complex, you idiot. Not funny. This is cool though, right? It definitely meets the criteria for the video. Okay, moving on here, we have the ProTech Duke 2. There is something very cool about little switchblades. My first automatic knife that I ever experienced was actually a really tiny one. And it was at a flea market, and the guy said, you push that button right there and the blade comes out automatically. And I remember he said, this is different than an assisted knife. This is a switchblade. Now, this was admittedly back during a time in Kansas where it was not legal to carry them. It was fine to own them, but not legal to carry them. This changed in 2013, 2014. They're like, fine. Carry whatever you want. You know what? Carry a battle axe if you want. And wouldn't you know it, It didn't really make any difference whatsoever, at least in Western Kansas, right? Almost everybody I know carries a pocket knife, and there's very little knife crime. But anyways, I don't want to get on that tangent. My first true auto, and it was a junky piece of crap, little mall ninja flea market thing. It was a little tiny guy. Ever since then, I have collected, a lot of knives. I've handled a ton, thousands. And I love my big autos. I love knives of all different types. There's something kind of charming about a little auto. I like the idea of, in a setting where I probably wouldn't need to use a knife super hard, just something convenient. This is a very kind of like office executive kind of knife to me. It's kind of a cringe way to describe it there, but that's what it makes me think of. Obviously, you'd have to be in an office setting where they're okay with this, but it's just cool. This is an American-made knife, and it is an expensive knife, and a lot of people just can't really wrap their minds around a knife that is small having a big price tag, despite that not being the main driving force behind the price tag. This is a fully in-house U.S.-produced knife with premium materials. But it's also one of ProTech's least expensive knives. So if you're like me and you like smaller autos, or you need to carry a smaller knife and you just happen to enjoy autos, this might be one to check out. It is very, very cool, though. I like it a lot. It's fun. Thanks again to ProTech for letting me share this with everybody. It has really been a joy to carry. And then finally, the last knife, and definitely the weirdest knife, also probably the most dangerous, the Concept Hazard, which, truth be told, I keep pushing back the unboxing on this channel. I've had the unboxing scheduled for a long time now, and I keep pushing it back. So you might actually see the unboxing for this knife in the future. This is a weird knife. It's almost Balisong-esque in that you have to release this thing back here in order to get the blade to come out into the open position. Now, I'm not a tricky swoopy doopy kind of guy, so I can't do all this stuff. As long as you keep this in between your fingers and the blade, you're good. But people can do tricks with this, right? And there's like cool, fun, crazy ways to open it. I don't know exactly how people do it, but it's kind of fun. They call it the Hazard, and I think that's a perfectly appropriate name for this knife because it just feels a little bit dangerous to operate. If you're wondering how strong is that locking system, well, if you're holding on to it, holding it in place, much like a frame lock, it's not going to disengage. But if you let go of it and you go to tap on the spine, I can tell you it absolutely will disengage. But I have to drive this point home. I don't think this locking system was designed to be super duper strong in the open position. On the other hand, I do think that knives that are intended to lock out should be able to withstand a little bit of spine tapping. Not, a spine whack. I think that test is ridiculous. There's no real world scenario where you're going to be doing that with a knife, right? As long as it can survive, just a couple of taps, like obviously the Shark Cub's going to. Something like that is going to be just fine. This, I think, was designed to be more fidgety than anything else, rather than a serious, daily cutting tool. It is neat, and I do enjoy the different locking systems, and it is definitely cool. But by showing this knife, I feel like it's my responsibility to tell people, do not depend completely on this locking system to stay engaged if you're going to go out and use this thing hard. If you're going to put pressure on the blade, you're fine, because it's obviously not going to disengage backwards. Any light spine pressure will disengage this locking system. So if you plan to use this for light cutting tasks and a little bit of slightly hazardous fun, then yeah, knock yourself out. It's kind of neat. Anything outside of that, I'd say probably not. So anyways, going back over the list here, we have the Concept Hazard. We have the ProTech Duke 2. Never actually experienced the Duke 1. We have the Ketwo Dirty Bird. Then we have the giant PMP Paragon, which does not fit on screen. And finally, the Halloween-themed Civivi Yonder. I'll have links for all of this stuff down in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.